Hey everybody, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I am the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined as always by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily Grace Deal, what are we talking about today?
Well, there seems to be a lot of chaos right now around the idea of like a remote work versus in-person work.
Yes.
Some companies are hybrid, while others are either on either extreme side of that spectrum, right?
Yeah, they're either all in person or all
Strong
all
feelings.
remote. Yeah.
What have we seen that has worked, and how should organizations think about this huge challenge?
So this is a tough one because I think most places, probably the majority of places, were in person. COVID hit. Suddenly we had to learn how to work remotely.
Right. It was a forced adaptation.
It was a forced adaptation. It happened really fast and really painfully.
Mm-hmm.
We also found some advantages in that. We found some good things. And there's some companies through that process said, we're going to be remote all the time. We love this.
Right.
Some didn't. Some said, we are going to be remote. And now they're going back and saying, hold on, we're going to be in person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think every organization has to really think through how to process this because it is emotional in a lot of ways.
Right.
You know, if people started working remotely and they felt like it was good and now you're taking this good thing away, they're going to struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are going to draw that line in the sand and say, no, this is not a place for me anymore. And so when we think about this, I think we need to first understand there's value in both of them.
Right. I agree.
I love the days that I just don't have meetings. I don't have to leave the house. I get to stay and work, enjoy some quiet, be productive.
Mm-hmm.
There's days I love when we all work together.
Right.
And there's benefits to both of those. I think the days that I just get to sit in my office by myself and don't have to go anywhere or do anything, I get a ton of stuff done.
Right. There's a different focus to that.
Yes, there's a different focus. I get to be real creative. I get to like do my real creative work early, then start knocking out tasks of admin stuff that we've already established I'm not great at. This is why we don't give Emily for Miss Vibes Emily over here. We don't give her a mic because she would be like, yes. Actually, we should get her a mic, John. And the only time she gets to chime in is when I mention admin work and she goes, yes. It's just all she needs a button. A light comes on. So those days are really, really helpful for me. However, I love our collaboration.
Yeah.
I love the in-person collaboration. I think we have a great time together. We enjoy that time.
Mm-hmm.
We actually do create a lot of ideas and we make some progress. But those days for me, honestly, I don't know how it is for y'all. They're not real productive.
Well, I mean, I think there's a little bit different, but I think it's really just that in person is where we can like save a lot of, I mean, we can communicate when we're not in person too. Like that's totally still doable. Like that's not a piece of it.
But in person, it's
for
fast,
us,
right?
it's that fast. Like let's solve this problem. We save those. We are super intentional about this, right? We save things on we figure out what needs to be done, what days. Okay, we're in person this day. These things are better done in person. So we schedule it out ahead of time. I know that whenever I need to be super creative, I got my big iMac at home. We sit and we can do that and I can focus and
you
be
need
creative.
Quiet to do that.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, it's just different priorities and that works for us. We're not saying this works for everybody.
No, that's kind of our
us.
hybrid model. And I think that's what most hybrid models look like is there's the in-person collaboration to do certain things. And then we're okay being at home and actually really getting a lot accomplished.
Right.
And some people land on either end of that spectrum where you got people that say, no, we're all remote or no, we're all in person. And I think anybody that comes down on the side of one way is 100% great and there's no drawbacks. That's the problem.
Yeah.
When you can say all these ways, all three modes of operating have some really, really good advantages and some really big disadvantages because they really do, you know?
Well, and I think that's like, I think fear is a piece of this because we're afraid of the jokes that where you're at work, or you're at home, but you're not actually working.
Yes.
But we talk about this and are open and communicate. I also am a mom at home when I'm working from my house. Like it's not all quiet and focused all the time. I have a 4-year-old I'm watching. So
I've been on those calls and I'm like, hey, tell him hi.
But you are able to trust that I'm getting my work done and I am like, I'm there doing what I need to do. And some days if I can't, we're just honest and open about it and say, hey, this isn't the day.
Yeah.
And everything still gets done on time and our deadlines are still met. So like it works for us.
It works for us. And I think that's the next key is companies need to very clearly decide and define what is going to work best for them. Mm-hmm. They need to figure out what that is whether it's all remote, all in person, or hybrid. Which version is going to work for them and define why. I think the why really matters. Yeah. Why do we think for us this is the best choice?
Right.
And then on the other side, the employees, they need to very clearly define which one works best for them and why. And I think this is where we have the rub. This is the challenge. This is why this keeps ending up on the news.
Yes.
Is because a company will say, we are going to be all in person. And now people that have been working remotely, and a lot of them successfully, are now upset about it. We don't want to be in person. Well, most of them, what's interesting and where I kind of struggle a little bit with this is when somebody was hired to work in person, and now because of a pandemic, they worked remote, and now we're saying we got to go back in person. They're like, what? Like, this is how you were hired, you know?
Yeah.
Come on, you know? But
the original guidelines. Well, that's the why.
Exactly. And the why is what helps with that. And ultimately, I think if the company says, here's one of the three modes that works best for us, here's why, and the employee says, well, I need this different one, and here's why. If those two things don't line up, that's not the end of the world.
Right.
That's okay.
Right.
The employees are free to then go find where's the place that is going to line up and make an intentional choice. And in the same way, the companies are able to do the same thing.
Well, I think that's why, like, the why, like, voicing the why is also important, because then it takes that the speculation piece out. They're doing this because, they just want to be mean or whatever.
100%.
The kind of aggressive thought might be behind that. Like, you don't get to fill in the blanks. Yeah. If you come out and say, here's why we've thought about this, here is our plan that works for us. Yes. Cool. And that's both sides. That's the company and the person.
We hope it lines up with you guys. If it doesn't, we understand, but we hope it does.
Right. Because as a person, you could be like, I really, in person works for, like, if I had to work in the office 100% of the time, it wouldn't work for me. I have a 4-year-old that I have to be around.
Yes.
I'm not trying to say that I want to work from home so I can watch Netflix all day. I mean, there's thought process behind it. My why is my 4-year-old.
Yes.
And it happens to work for us.
Yeah.
So I think that if we can come to that from both sides and agree on a middle, and if it doesn't work, then that's when you can have a different discussion.
And that's okay. I think that's the piece we have to land on, is it's okay. The organization is under no obligation to provide a certain style of work. And in the same way, the employee is not required to do the style. If they don't like it, they can go somewhere else. And that's not a bad choice. I think if they're intentional about it.
Right.
Because let's say I was hired in person and that's all I knew, and then I was forced to work remote, and through working remote, I learned, I'm not spending 2 hours commuting a day. That's 2 hours that I'm spending on my growth and my development and my family. Those 2 hours are more valuable to me now. And if I can't have that at this job, I'm going to go find another job.
Right.
I think that conversation is a great conversation to have, because it's about intentionality.
Right.
It's about everybody intentionally choosing what is going to work best for me. And I'm sure there'll be some privilege in that of, well, it must be nice to be able to just quit your job and go find another one. But the reality is that's available to all of us. That doesn't mean it's easy. It doesn't mean it won't take a while to find another one. And by the way, please don't quit your job before you go find another one. Suck it up, drive into the office.
We did not tell you to quit your job.
We did not tell you to quit your job. What we're telling you is, go find another job.
Right.
If what you need and what you value does not line up with what the company says is best for the company, that's okay. Go start looking. Go start exploring. And I think this matters because if there's a disconnect between their why and your why, if those two things don't line up, you're going to end up miserable. You just are.
Yeah.
And so I think for all organizations, understanding there's some good and some bad in all three of these. Figure out what works best for you and communicate that why over and over and over again.
Right.
And then on the other side, employees can do the exact same thing. They can go through the exact same thought process for themselves and decide for them and their families what's best.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of this, is there is no one right way. There is just your way.
Yeah.
There's my way. There's our way. And that's okay.
The stress comes when you try and make it one.
Yes.
One singular way.
Absolutely. Leaders, let's talk next steps. Undoubtedly, if you're a part of a large organization, you've probably wrestled with some of this. Do we go remote? Do we go in person? Do we go hybrid? And this is something people get real touchy about because it's their time, it's their lives. So really sit down and define what's going to work best for your company and why. And that has to be over communicated over and over and over again. And if you're an employee, do the exact same thing. Which mode works best for you and why? And can that alignment happen in this company, or do you need to go find that alignment somewhere else? Either one is okay. It's just making an intentional choice to kind of create the life you want. All right. If people want to send us emails that say we're completely insane and everything should be done their way, or questions or scenarios, where do they send those to?
To lab@forwardpartners.net.
Lab@forwardpartners.net. If they want to find us online, we're putting out social media content about healthy leadership all over the place. Where do they find that?
At Forward Partner.
At Forward Partner on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Emily, thank you for hosting.
Thank you.
John, Porchlight Production Vineyard, thank you for producing. Other Emily, thanks for bringing the vibes. Viewers, listeners, watchers, we love you very much. Thank you. Share this with leaders. If you know a leader really wrestling through this topic, share it with them. Maybe they'll find some value in it. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.